Ladies and gentlemen, hear me clearly. The world you see around you is not the world you were born to live in. Society will try to measure your worth with numbers, titles, and opinions. Friends, media, even the people you love. Each will whisper a story about who you should be, what you should chase, and how you should define success. But I am here to tell you, don't base your life on this. Too often, we hand our power to fleeting things, approval, trends, circumstances, the fleeting judgments of others, and watch our own dreams fade quietly in the background. You chase recognition, wealth, status, and in the process, you forget the fire that burns within you. You forget the voice that says, this is your life and it belongs to you. The truth is brutal but beautiful. Nothing outside of you can define your worth. Not your job, not your possessions, not the applause of the crowd. These are shadows. They are illusions. They cannot sustain you. They cannot guide you. They cannot guide you. They cannot tell you who you truly are. You have something infinitely more powerful, your mind, your heart, your courage. You have the ability to see clearly, to act boldly, and to shape your life according to your own principles, not someone else's checklist. You have the capacity to rise above fleeting standards and create meaning that lasts. So I ask you now, what are you basing your life on? Is it fleeting praise, shallow security, the fear of failure, or are you ready to base it on purpose, resilience, and a relentless commitment to your own truth? The moment to act is now. Stand up, tear off the masks, reject the illusions, decide that your life will be measured by your own courage, your own growth, your own love for the world. Don't wait for permission, don't wait for approval, don't wait for the stars to align. Your life is yours. Claim it, shape it, live it. Too often, we hand our power to fleeting things, approval, trends, circumstances, the fleeting judgments of others, and watch our own dreams fade quietly in the background. We look outside ourselves for validation, waiting for someone else to say we are enough, waiting for society to hand us a certificate of worth, waiting for the world to give us a green light to move forward. In that waiting, life slips by like water through our fingers, and we convince ourselves that we are merely reacting, not creating, that we are observers rather than participants. Every choice we make, every hesitation we carry, becomes shaped by someone else's idea of who we should be or what we should do. We let comments on social media dictate our confidence, performance reviews dictate our identity, and the fleeting opinions of friends and family dictate our direction. Our focus shifts from nurturing our own vision to maintaining the fragile approval of the outside world. We develop invisible chains made of comparison, fear, and the unspoken rule that we must fit into predefined molds. We watch others' lives and think that if we cannot achieve the same recognition, the same wealth, the same status, we have somehow failed. We forget that their path is not ours, that their milestones are not universal, that their happiness is not a measure of our potential. The constant pressure to align ourselves with external standards robs us of clarity. We become distracted by what is flashy, temporary, or sensational instead of looking inward, instead of questioning what truly matters. The irony is that the very things we chase for validation often leave us emptier than before. A compliment fades, an achievement becomes old news, a promotion loses its shine. Approval is never permanent, it is always conditional, fleeting, and dependent on circumstances beyond our control. Yet we structure our decisions around these fragile rewards as if they were solid ground. In doing so, we ignore the deeper, enduring sources of strength that lie within us, our creativity, our resilience, our moral compass, our unique perspective, and the capacity to act with intention. By surrendering our decision-making to external forces, we allow ourselves to drift into lives that are predictable, safe, and ultimately unfulfilled, leaving behind the potential for greatness that exists only when we trust ourselves. Every day spent chasing external validation is a day spent silent to our own voice. We trade our intuition for a checklist created by others, our instincts for the applause of strangers. We begin to believe that their judgment defines us, forgetting that the only true measure of our life is the alignment between our actions and our own values. When we let fleeting approval guide us, our ambitions shrink to fit the expectations of others, our creativity is constrained by fear of criticism, and our dreams are compromised by the invisible hand of societal approval. We begin to live in the margins of possibility, afraid to claim the fullness of our vision because it might upset the balance of someone else's perception. The truth is brutal but beautiful. Nothing outside of you can define your worth. Not your job, not your possessions, not the applause of the crowd. These things are illusions, fragile and fleeting, built to impress the eyes but incapable of nurturing the soul. Many of us have spent years constructing our identities around the validation of external achievements, thinking that titles, wealth, or recognition could fill the void within. We chase promotions, collect degrees, acquire possessions, and measure ourselves against the milestones of others, hoping each accomplishment will finally prove our value. But each accomplishment, no matter how significant in the eyes of the world, eventually becomes just another marker on a timeline, a stepping stone that is neither permanent nor inherently meaningful. The applause fades, the awards gather dust, the titles expire, and the void returns, louder than before, whispering that we have been seeking fulfillment in the wrong place. External validation is a mirage. It may shine brightly for a moment, but it evaporates under scrutiny, leaving nothing solid beneath your feet. The world can give praise, but it can also withhold it. The world can recognize you today and forget you tomorrow. Basing your worth on something so volatile is like building a house on sand. It looks impressive, it may even feel secure for a time, but the first storm will reveal the truth. Every moment you depend on approval or recognition. You surrender a fraction of your freedom. You allow external forces to dictate your emotions, your decisions, and your self-perception. You become a puppet, dancing to strings pulled by the opinions, judgments, and fleeting standards of others, while the strings of your own potential remain untied and unexplored. True strength, resilience, and fulfillment are never found outside. They emerge when you recognize that your worth is inherent, unshakable, and independent of circumstance. Your value is not contingent on a paycheck, a compliment, a title, or a number. It is not measured by who applauds you, how many followers you have, or how loudly the world announces your accomplishments. It is measured by your ability to remain true to yourself, to act in alignment with your principles, and to create meaning from your own vision. The moment you internalize this truth, the world no longer has the power to destabilize you. You become untethered from the fragile standards of others, and you gain the courage to define success on your own terms. You can pursue what matters, not what impresses. You can speak your truth, not echo the expectations of the crowd. You can create, love, and act without fear of judgment, because your worth is already established, not by the world, but by your own recognition of your capacity, your heart, and your purpose. When you live in this truth, life transforms. The noise of comparison quiets, the pressure to perform for approval fades. You start seeing opportunity where others see risk, authenticity where others see conformity, and potential where others see limitation. Every decision becomes intentional, every action infused with your own vision, and every moment carries the weight of purpose rather than the emptiness of seeking validation. The world may continue to judge, to whisper, to measure, but none of it can touch the foundation of your being, because your life is no longer dependent on something so fleeting. You have something infinitely more powerful, your mind, your heart, your courage. You have within you the capacity to create a life that is fully your own, a life that cannot be dictated by circumstances, opinions, or fleeting trends. Every human being carries an inner compass, a spark of vision that is unique and untouchable, yet so many of us ignore it, choosing instead to drift along the currents of expectation. One convention. We allow ourselves to be led by the fear of criticism, by the comfort of familiarity, by the illusion that someone else's definition of success is superior to our own. In doing so, we sacrifice the most precious resource we have, our ability to act with intentionality, to shape reality according to our own vision, and to live a life that resonates with meaning and purpose. Courage is not merely the absence of fear, it is the willingness to move forward despite it, the cup to follow your own path, even when the world seems intent on steering you away. It is the force that transforms possibility into reality, dreams into action, and potential into accomplishment. Your mind is more powerful than any external obstacle. The thoughts you cultivate, the beliefs you hold, and the perspectives you choose determine the quality of your life far more than any circumstance ever could. Yet too often we give that power away. We absorb the doubts of others, internalize criticism, and allow negative voices to drown out our own inner guidance. We wait for permission, for reassurance, for conditions to be perfect, forgetting that life is never perfect, and waiting is an illusion that only delays the moment when we could step into our own power. The mind is a forge, and every thought you entertain shapes the reality you inhabit. If you train it to focus on possibility, resilience, and purpose, it becomes a tool that can move mountains. If you surrender it to fear, distraction, or dependence on others' opinions, it becomes a prison, invisible but suffocating. Your heart too holds immense power, the power to feel deeply, to connect authentically, to act with empathy, and to move through life with conviction. A life lived without heart is a life measured in transactions, performances, and empty achievements. But when heart guides action, even the smallest acts carry weight. Even the quietest choices ripple outward with influence, touching lives and shaping realities. Courage without heart can become recklessness, but courage married to heart becomes unstoppable. It allows you to take bold steps that align not just with ambition, but with the essence of who you are. And finally, courage amplifies everything. It is the engine that turns awareness into action. It allows you to face uncertainty, to embrace discomfort, to risk failure, and to step into arenas where the timid will never tread. It turns potential into impact, and it transforms dreams into tangible outcomes. When mind, heart, and courage converge, they create a force that cannot be measured by external standards. You no longer wait for validation. You no longer follow the currents of others' expectations. You no longer hesitate for fear of judgment. You become the architect of your life, capable of designing a reality that reflects your vision, your values, and your boundless capacity to act with intention. Every day spent drifting through life without conscious choice, while is a day surrendered to inertia, to circumstance, and to the designs of others. Most people move through life reacting rather than acting, letting situations dictate their mood, letting fear dictate their decisions, letting the opinions of the crowd dictate their actions. They live in a constant state of deferment, waiting for the right time, the perfect opportunity, or the approval that may never come. Yet life has no pause button, no guarantee that tomorrow will be more forgiving than today, no promise that conditions will magically align. Every moment is both fleeting and eternal, a chance to assert your power and reclaim control over the trajectory of your life. Waiting, hesitating, or basing your steps on the comfort of others' expectations slowly erodes the potential within you, leaving behind a residue of regret that grows heavier with each passing year. The longer you let external forces hold sway, the further you drift from your own purpose, and the more distant your dreams become from reality. Action is the bridge between vision and manifestation. Dreams remain invisible until they are touched by the hands of persistence, courage, and relentless effort. Many are content to admire their own aspirations from a distance, to speak of them in passing, or to outline them neatly in journals and lists, yet fail to engage with the work required to bring them into existence. Action is what separates those who merely wish from. It is a declaration that your circumstances, past failures, or external pressures do not define you. Every decision made intentionally is a rejection of passivity, a refusal to let your life be scripted by fear or expectation. Even failure, when met with persistence, becomes a teacher, a compass, and a stepping stone rather than a final verdict. Action forces clarity. It reveals strength previously hidden, uncovers new paths, and illuminates opportunities that remain invisible to those who achieve. It is what turns thought into experience, intention into consequence, and potential into impact. Every step taken in alignment with your own truth, no matter how small or uncertain, carries significance. It compounds, it builds momentum, it transforms the intangible into something tangible, the imagined into something real. Without it, even the clearest vision remains a phantom, an echo of possibility that never becomes substance. To act is to reclaim authority over your life. Who remains stagnant? The universe responds not to idle contemplation, but to persistent, aligned movement. Each choice to act, each effort to step beyond comfort, stretches the limits of what is possible, challenges what was thought inevitable, and carves space for growth, transformation, and achievement. The power of action lies not in perfection, but in commitment. Waiting for ideal conditions, flawless timing, or external permission is the greatest thief of potential. Life rewards those willing to move despite doubt, to act despite fear, and to persevere despite uncertainty. Momentum is built through repetition, consistency, and courage. One step becomes two, two becomes 10, 10 becomes a path, and a path eventually becomes a life fully lived on your own terms. By choosing action over hesitation, choice over drift, and courage over complacency, you begin to reclaim what is inherently yours, the ability to shape your destiny, to define success on your own terms, and to leave a mark on the world that cannot be erased by circumstance or opinion. When you finally begin to understand that your life is shaped not by outward expectations but by the strength of your own choices, a profound shift takes place. You start to see that clarity is not granted from outside sources, it is earned by confronting the truth within yourself. The noise of the world becomes less convincing, less intimidating, and less capable of steering you away from your path. Instead of bending your identity to fit drifting standards, you begin to stand firmly in who you are. You begin to recognize that meaning is not found in pursuing what impresses others, but in pursuing what ignites something real within you. This realization awakens a deeper sense of responsibility. Responsibility for your thoughts, for your energy, for your decisions, and for the life you have the power to create. It becomes clear that no one else can walk your path for you, no one else can carry your potential, and no one else can translate your vision into reality. The moment you stop seeking approval, you start seeking truth. You discover that authenticity carries a strength that cannot be matched by performance or pretense. When you act from a place of alignment rather than fear, you experience a type of clarity that makes the world's judgments irrelevant. The criticisms that once held you back lose their weight. The comparisons that once held you back lose their weight. The comparisons that once drained your confidence become insignificant. You stop measuring yourself against standards that were never meant for you and begin to ask a different question. What feels true to who I am? This question becomes a compass, guiding your decisions with precision and giving your life a direction that no external voice could have provided. Clarity emerges not from knowing every step ahead, but from knowing which steps are not yours to take. With this clarity comes a renewed sense of freedom. You are no longer confined by the fear of failure because you understand that failure is part of the process of becoming. You are no longer trapped by the illusion of perfection because you see that perfection is an obstacle that prevents growth. You begin to embrace imperfection as a teacher, mistakes as fuel, and challenges as training grounds for your character. Freedom means being willing to take risks, to move without guarantees, to trust your capacity to adapt and evolve. It means recognizing you are no longer constrained by external expectations. You can no longer hide behind excuses or limitations you once accepted as truth. You become accountable to yourself, your own standards, your own values, your own possibilities. This responsibility is not a burden, it is empowerment. It allows you to claim ownership over your growth, to direct your energy with intention, and to shape your future with clarity and conviction. Every step becomes deliberate, every decision infused with that uncertainty is not a threat, but an invitation to expand who you are. This shift transforms the way you engage with every aspect of your life, from relationships to work to personal growth. You stop trying to fit in and start trying to grow. You stop trying to please and start trying to express. You stop trying to be who others expect and start becoming who you were meant to be. This inner freedom also awakens a deeper sense of responsibility toward your own potential. When you realize that purpose, every effort aligned with who you are becoming, the world may continue to whisper its expectations, offering opinions disguised as truth and judgments disguised as guidance. But once you begin to anchor yourself in your own values, those voices lose the power they once held over you. You start to see that external noise is just that noise. It shifts, fluctuates, contradicts itself, and often carries the weight of other people's insecurities rather than any genuine insight about your. Create space within yourself for something far more powerful, your own inner voice. It may begin softly, barely noticeable beneath the distractions of the world, but with time, reflection, and courage, it grows into a steady and unwavering source of direction. You realize that confidence is not granted by the approval of others, but cultivated through the consistency with which you follow your own truth. This clarity solidifies into a form of resilience that external forces cannot penetrate. You become less reactionary, less emotionally swayed by praise or criticism, and more grounded in the steady rhythm of your own purpose. Instead of bending under the weight of expectations, you rise above them with a sense of calm conviction. You no longer feel the need to justify your choices, explain your direction, or prove your worth because you understand that your life is not a performance staged for others to evaluate. It is a personal journey shaped by your own intentions, experiences, and inner compass. As you grow stronger within yourself, you become more capable of discerning what belongs to you and what does not, what aligns with your values and what merely distracts you from them. Decisions become clearer, actions become deliberate, and your path becomes illuminated by the light of your own authenticity. With this inner stability, you begin to recognize the difference between movement and distraction. Not everything that demands your attention deserves your energy, not mental, emotional, and spiritual space needed to cultivate your potential. You begin to prioritize experiences that elevate you, relationships that support you, and commitments that enrich your life rather than diminish it. This alignment creates a sense of inner harmony that becomes increasingly difficult to disrupt. Life's challenges will still come, as they always do, but your response to them changes dramatically. You no longer crumble under pressure or see obstacles as signs of inadequacy.